Thank you for staying with us. We're saying once again, good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. Let's go straight into our top stories. The Nigerian Army says it will not relent in ensuring total peace is maintained in the northeast and other parts of the country. Chief of Defense Staff Christopher Musa made a statement during an operational visit to the northeast theater of operation in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Umaru Kirawa completes the report.
Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has served in Maiduguri as Theater Commander, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai. He is back to Borno State to boost morale of troops and appreciate the government and people of the state. The Chief of Defense Staff gave frontline troops the opportunity to ask questions, where he answered and directed them to finish all remnants and marauding Boko Haram and other terrorists.
We're here to tell them a big kudos and to also try and remind them that we still have work ahead so that we will not relent. It is not yet over. It is our desire, and as mandated by the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, for us to ensure that there is total peace.
He urged them to be sincere in their conduct to consolidate on the ongoing effort to sustain peace.
Those that have been kidnapped, we are making every effort to ensure that we restore them back and bring them back. And to the criminals, their days are numbered. It's just a matter of time. We are going to get them all. So for their own sake, we advise them to surrender or fizzle out of the country completely, because we are going to make Nigeria too hot for them to remain.
The CDS insisted that there is no hiding place for terrorists and other criminal elements in the society, as the security forces will not give them breathing space. The Chief of Defense Staff visited Governor Zulum, Shehu of Borno, personnel at the 7th Division Hospital, Nigerian Army, where he talked with them heart to heart and supported and assured them of better welfare.
Alhamdulillah, we are very comfortable now. And this has happened as a result of your continuous support assistance.
To Borno State Governor, strengthen community resilience, peace building, social cohesion, stabilization mechanisms of reconstruction, rehabilitation and resettlement are the best ways to consolidate and better the lots of the citizenry.
And I want to promise to you that government of Borno State, under my distinguished leadership, will continue to provide the needed support to the Nigerian Armed Forces with a view to carrying out your mandate of restoring peace and stability in Borno State.
Endemic poverty, pervasive illiteracy, climate change vulnerabilities are some of the challenges which the government is battling with to address some of the root causes of the humanitarian crisis in the northeast Nigeria. Umaru Kirawa, reporting for News Central TV, Maiduguri.
All right, so that shows indeed the measures that are being put in place by the Chief of Defense Staff there, Christopher Musa, ensuring that security will no longer be a thing that is very common. Osarogie joins me as well this morning. We are indeed looking at the big stories together. Osarogie, We've seen the Chief of Defense Staff talking tough, and just recently as well, we did hear the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Torid Lagbaja, who came out to say there is a restructuring of the entire Nigerian Army so they can actually, put up a better security, especially ensuring lives are indeed safe. We've seen upheavals in different parts of the country, in the north, southeast, you name it. And it shows that the defense team are indeed working as well, tirelessly to put things together.
I would always give, the Army kudos for the steps that they've taken, not just the Army, Nigerian security agencies, but the steps that they've taken in the last couple of years to reduce, to the current level, the issues that we have with insurgents and with bandits and with terror organizations, Boko Haram, ISWAP, and the likes. But while, commending them for where we currently are, it's also important, that it is said that this work would be done not just by kinetic means only, and also not just by media, releases and press statements and these visits. I've seen in this report now, he visited the Shehu of Borno, also visited the governor of the state. It is, in my opinion, I don't think it's rocket science If you listen to the report at the end, he spoke about endemic poverty, poor infrastructure, and many other things that have plagued those parts of Nigeria for many years. I'm of the opinion that it is one of those are a couple of the reasons why you may almost never see the end of insurgency in these places. I will never agree with anybody who says that, because other countries are fighting terrorism and they've been fighting for many years, so Nigeria should do the same thing. Absolutely not. I feel like we have the means, and we should have been able to end these issues at least 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 years ago, if we had the political will to do it. What we've seen is that every dispensation, every couple of years, there's a new, there's a change of guard. New army chief, new chief of, defense staff, new chief of air staff, new, service chiefs generally. But it's almost the same routines that happen. And we never really get to see that, in the last 3 years, we have been able to make Nigeria completely safer. And so there's many things that need to be done. Babagana Zulum of Borno State, governor of the state for a couple of years now, and I would always start with say, I give you credit for what you've done and what you've been able to achieve in Borno State. But if you still have that level of poverty in your state, you would blame nobody but yourself because you're currently governor. If you still have that level of deplorable situation with infrastructure, with education, with employment, there's nobody else to blame but yourself. And I don't agree that this should be the picture of the Northeast forever. When we come down to the southern part of Nigeria, look at, yes, there's also complaints about what Warri and Bayelsa and all those places look like, because they should be better because, they are oil-producing states. But I don't agree that this, the level of IDPs that we find in Borno or in Katsina or in Zamfara, that should be the norm. I know these things could have been sorted out many, many years ago. And I also just, add that for a long time, there's been calls for proper auditing of army expenditure, which I don't think we've still been able to do. The Nigerian government has released billions and billions and billions of naira to security agencies in the last few years that any reasonable person should be able to point at and say, these funds, if they were adequately used, should have equipped our army better, should have equipped, our police better, so you equipped all our security agencies better. And if we haven't, is there any proper auditing going on? So what I'm just pointing out are the numerous ways with which we could have done better as a country, and we still aren't, it doesn't seem like we're doing, making any changes. But we'll see.
In one of my conversations with, I think it was here on Breakfast Central a few years ago, with one of our security experts, he said, sometimes it's easier said than done. And he highlighted the challenges that some of the soldiers and the military is indeed having. We've seen some of them post up these challenges on social media. They've gone ahead to do videos. They've complained about the weapons, especially the weaponry. And this has led to the recent case where an army general has been jailed for 7 years. We're talking about Umaru Muhammad, a major general, and he's jailed because of the number of charges that he's faced with. 18 of them, 14 have indeed definitely, he's been found guilty of 14 of them. And why is he jailed? Well, that's because 3 billion naira was stolen. 3 billion naira. Osarogie. If you look at what 3 billion naira can do for the military, then you know that in combating terrorism and insurgency, it will indeed go a long way. But this is not the first time that Nigeria is going through this situation where monies that are dedicated or meant for security and the likes is not actually reached or used by security itself, talking about the Nigerian Army. So hopefully with the Chief of Defense Staff and the Chief of, talking about Umaru Musa, yes. Hopefully things will change.
It's not likely to happen. If you remember when we're having the NSAS conversations and people also were breaking down how much money is budgeted for the police every year, and look at the kind of, a lot of times they have to go sew their own uniforms, they have to buy their own, ammo, ammunition, all of that. So no, until we get serious, it wouldn't change. Nothing will change. Anyway, let's move away from security challenges now and go to